All right, y'all. Get you a cup of coffee or a iced tea or hot tea or whatever you like to drink. And join me if you want to because we got a stack of mail to open. um, I'm splitting this video up so many times because that's how much mail I've got to open. And it's from months, okay? And it's been stacking up and I've not put it away, any of my gifts or my cards, until I get on here and read them with y'all. So we're going to power through this today and start. First thing that I found in my post office box was that I owe my post office box fee. So I better put this over here because I got to get right on that. Yes, I do. It says I can go online, so that's what I'll do. But anyway, y'all, I got tickled at one person one time said, I thought opening the mail. Now, who in the world would want to watch opening the mail? And then I sat and watched it, and now I get it. I was like, okay, because I still don't get it, but y'all love for me to open your mail on here with y'all. And I love that y'all love that. I really do. So here we are again. Yes, we are. Um, and like I say, my life, a lot of y'all, some of you don't know, but have just learned that my mother passed away in May. And we've been trying to get my daddy moved, get him out here close to us, because he and my mother lived in the town next to us. So we don't want him being totally alone. And so we've just had many other things going on with other family members. Sometimes you just get huge storms in your life. But I always pray that God's guiding my life. And so I'm where I need to be, even if it's in a storm or whatever, because it's what He wants me in. Maybe I'm needing to learn something, maybe I'm needing to gain some strength or some stamina. So whatever it is, it's God willed, and so that's what I work with, right? So anyway, I'm not saying that for an apology that I'm just now reading this. I'm just saying that, things are going on. But I saved these so I can get on here with y'all and visit with you because I know y'all like that so much, and I do too. Um, so here we go with this little stack. I've got stacks all over the place. This one says, this comes from Nicole Coleman. And Nicole lives in Looneyville, West Virginia. Nicole, I feel like I live in Looneyville about half the time, girl. So I love that. I do. It says, if you're planning on having a wild and crazy birthday, I just have one thing to say. Count me in. Then she says, P.S. You can mail me some of your cake. I love to joke. I love to joke too, Nicole. Life is way too short not to just be silly. Right? I know. And have a good time. She says, Amy, I hope you have a fun and enjoyable day with family and friends, and I hope you're going to give you a blessed birthday. I am healthy. One, I hope two, see more of your videos. I know. See, like I say, I always feel like God's guiding me. And for some reason, I've not been able to do as many videos, but I feel like we're getting back there. But again, that's all up to God. Maybe that old devil's dealing with us, trying to keep us apart, right? um, when I watch you, when I'm in a bad mood, you make me happy again. You make me get up and do something. And I love that, Nicole. She says, thank you for that. And Nicole, thank you for letting me know that. Because what you just told me encourages me to get up and get on here and do a video so I can get you to get up and do something, girl. So I love it. And I love your card. My best friend, Brittany, loves llamas. So she will love that card too. Thank you so much for that. I loved that card. I opened it on my birthday. It was back in March. And I loved that card. It was so, so cute. And just a wonderful little pick-me-up. And I love to be crazy and joke around too, so I love that, girl. I just really felt good when I read your card. The next package, y'all aren't gonna believe this. Mama Sue Southern Kitchen sent me a package. Isn't that fabulous? I know. And it is Mama Sue's Volume 3 cookbook. Isn't that great? I know. And her cookbooks remind me of all the cookbooks that I grew up getting at churches and stuff. It looks just like it. And those are my favorite cookbooks, is church cookbooks. And she's got it in here. And I'm just going to read her front page. It says, in the South, sharing a meal around the table is something that we all treasure. Friends become family. It is not unusual to leave dinner with a new recipe from your own collection. For your own collection, that's true. Each recipe holds special memories of that time spent together. I'm happy to share some of my favorite recipes for my friends and family with all my followers. Y'all have become my family, Mama Sue. And if y'all don't know Mama Sue, she needs no introduction. Sincerely, she doesn't, but she's on Facebook and YouTube as well. And she's very inspirational to watch. She is a tough cookie. Yes, she is. There was something I was just thinking about when I was reading it. Oh, yeah, when you go to dinner somewhere and come back with another recipe for your collection, that is so true. When I used to take meals to church or a dessert to church or something, I learned that I learned way back that you need to take the recipe. I would either write it down and copy it several times, on my copier, hand out, because it was like people coming up to you, hey, what all's in that? I need that recipe. I need that recipe. So I'll be like, here you go. So yeah, I learned that early on, because we run around and we say, hey, I love that. Who made this? Who made this? So you're so right, Mama Sue. Yes, you are. And I thank you so much for that. That's so sweet. I will cherish this. I certainly will. And y'all can order this from her little site too. So, anyway, go find her if you haven't, but I know y'all have, because Mama Sue, everybody knows her and everybody loves her. This one has got some private stuff in there to me as well. It comes from Manchester, Tennessee. So I won't say the name, because she said some of it's personal and some of it is, but it's a sweet little beautiful card in there. And I thank you from that. It comes from Misty. We'll just say that. How about that? And you sent me this devotional book, and I love it. I love it very much. You also sent me a beautiful, beautiful card. Y'all see that? It's gorgeous, and I love it. And it says, when I saw this card, I thought of you, and I thank you so very much for that. Very, very much for that. The one thing, and I'm getting these two mixed up. This one, let me go back. These go together. This comes from Mary Mars in Monrovia, California. I about got those mixed up. So sorry. This one has a card, and it has some special stuff in it. Now, what happened to all that special stuff? I tell you. Now, I remember it because it has the Lord's Prayer in it. It also has a sinner's prayer in it. Well, I tell you what. What did I do with that? It has the sinner's prayer in it, and it says on there, if you're saved, and you can pass this along to someone else, and it's the sinner's prayer, and it's so sweet, and you've written it so well out. So I've got it. I don't know where I put it, but I've got it because I'm going to leave it somewhere. Like, I've got several doctor's appointments I take my daddy to, and I go to, and I'm going to leave it there. I love to pass things like that on, and you worked so hard on that card, writing it all out. And I read the personal stuff too, and so I just want you to know that. But I'm not going to read it out loud, so I'm putting that over there. And I thank you so much for that. I do. Now we're moving on to this one. Yeah, I about got both of them mixed up. This is the beautiful flower card here. Isn't that gorgeous? And so when I saw this card, I thought of you. And it comes from Mary Alice, and she lives in Monrovia, California. It even has a beautiful inside on this card. It's just so pretty. Cards are just, well, they're art, aren't they? They are. And I thank you for that, Mary Alice. And anyway, Are you the one that sent me? No. Okay. Thank you for this. Now, going back to that other one. Y'all see my life. This is my life. Let me see. Because I had a whole... I'm going to tell you what. I tell you what. Hang on. Hang on. We're about to get here. No. Where is the card? There was a card that went with this. I sent you Red Sea Rules. Maybe I'll come across it in a minute because I remember all this. Right, welcome to my life. The Red Sea Rules. And I can't wait to read this. I've kept it here till I can. And this is the one that came from M. Brinkley in Manchester, Tennessee. Okay, we're going to get this straight in a minute. And I love it. This Red Sea Rules. I love just the chapters' names in here, and that's what I was going to read. It says, realize that God means for you to be where you are. And that is true. And sometimes it's not where we want to be, or we're really in a lot of turmoil, you know, or a storm, like I like to call it. But that's where we need to be for some reason. So we just need to be listening and praying and studying our Bible and not giving up and keeping our faith, right? Yeah, that's true. Be more concerned for God's glory than your own relief. Amen to chapter 2. That's right. And my son, my oldest son, and I talk almost every day. And we do Bible study together, and we talk about things that he's been studying or things I've been studying. And Blake has said that, you know, that I'm here for a reason. Things are going on for a reason, and we both talk about that, and we both realize that. And we still don't like where we are, maybe, but we realize that, so we keep our faith. Then we got chapter 3: acknowledge your enemy, but keep your eyes on the Lord. Pray. Amen. That's 4. Then 5, stay calm and confident and give God time to work. And that's it, because his time is his time, not ours. When unsure, take the next logical step by faith. Envision God's enveloping presence. Trust God to deliver in his own unique way. And it's always not what we think. You know, I've tried so many times in my life to say, okay, what's the answer to this? There's got to be a way or how to get through this. And then when I finally, and it's silly, I've done that. Have y'all done that, trying to fix situations yourself? And when I finally turn it over to God, he fixes it in a way that I never imagined. And I thought, boy, if I'd just done this to begin with, you know, I know. And then view your current crisis as a faith builder for the future. And that is the truth so much. Don't forget to praise him. That's right. Don't forget to praise him all the way through it. And yeah, and we had a preacher years ago say, when I was a little girl and I went to church, at Church of God, he said something, and I'll probably kind of slaughter this, but it was sort of a little opening thing. He said, somebody was laying in the road, cold and wet, and praying to God, please help me. I'm in the road. You know, I'm hungry. I'm this, I'm that. I need. And God said, okay, but the first thing you're going to have to do is stand up and walk out of the road. You know, you can't just lay there expecting to be lifted and pulled out of the road. You need to get up and let's face that day and let's try to do something. You know, let me guide you. Let's do this. But I need that one step from you, you know. So I have remembered that. I was probably about 12, and I can't remember what pastor we had at the time that told that little funny, but I was like, yeah, that's right. We've got to make that effort too. You know, we've got to get up and try to, you got to be moving to be guided, right? You got to be moving to be guided. So I loved that, and I've always remembered that, and that kind of reminds me a little bit, some of those words in there. So thank you so much for that, and I'm going to read it. Yes, I am. Anything like that I read my Bible in the morning, and then I'll read a little bit in it too, because I love that, and I always love to be learning And so that's wonderful. And the Red Sea Rules, I like that. I do. It says 10 God-given strategies for a difficult time. So that's a sweet, sweet book, and I thank you so much for it. Kimmy Southern Cooking sent me something too. If y'all don't know Kimmy, y'all go find her. She lives in Arkansas, Higdon, Arkansas, and she sent me this little notepad. It says Kimmy Southern Cooking on there. Go do something fun! Exclamation, exclamation. And girl, I'm with you. Go do something fun. That reminds me of something I've read before. It says, if you're looking for something fun to do, go do what you did when you were 10. Or if you're looking for a career or a passion, what did you love when you were 10 years old? And so I love that. That reminds me of that, Kimmy. And I love that you call yourself Kimmy, and I call you Kimmy because John's sister was Kimmy. We lost her a few Thanksgivings back, and the day before Thanksgiving, it was crazy, and I had 30 plus people coming to my house. So that was a crazy time, but we got through it. Yes, we did. But anyway, she was Kimmy too, so I love that, Kimmy. And she wrote me a little personal note on the front. It says, Amy, I appreciate you so much, Kimmy. Love you, my sweet friend. And you're just so precious, girl. And you know full well I'm going to use this. And y'all, Kimmy has got Tidy Up Tuesday on there. And I watched her just this morning on her Tidy Up Tuesday. And I'm always like, oh my goodness. She is very, very, very organized. And I'm very, very, very not organized. Even though I want to be, I'm not, okay? I'm always running around by the seat of my pants, getting this done, that done. And I used to think I had to have everything in place before I did something. And I realized through time and prayer, God's like, no, just get up and do it, and we'll get everything in place later. And that's the same way. I used to think that years ago. I grew up going to church, and I married John and moved out here, and we weren't going to church for years. And I kept thinking, well, I'm going to get everything straight. I'm going to get my life straight, and then I'm going to go to church. And that's not how I needed to look at it. I finally just went to church, and then God helped me get everything straightened out and figured out. So that's how I go about my days now. I don't really have the time, and everything's not organized. Like for me to sit down and do this, but it's like, well, let's just do this, and eventually everything will come together. So yeah, Kimmy would have a time and a half in my life. But I love to watch her because, like, she's my inspiration. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get to that, Kimmy. I sure am. But thank you, girl. Thank you for my little notepad, and it's going right into my kitchen because that's where I will make notes. Yes, it is. But anyway, go check her out. It's Kimmy's Southern Cooking, and she's on Facebook, and she's also on YouTube. So y'all go find her. And she's a sweetheart. She is. She's a sweetheart. This comes from Miss Jeannie Erickson from Littleton, Colorado. And Jeannie sends me cards and sweet pick-me-ups all the time. Jeannie, you are so good to me, girl. And I feel so lacking because you're always just picking me right up, girl. And I thank you so much for that. And she sent me this beautiful little card thanking of you. And she's always, like I say, she's always sending me beautiful notes. Dear Amy, I'm thinking of you during this difficult time with your mama. I lost mine 8.5 years ago, and my dad 14 years ago. And Jeannie, I'm so sorry, girl. I am. I lost my sweet husband 1 year ago, and then you broke my heart. And I'm so sorry over again. And she said unexpectedly, and that had to be a hit, girl, at only 62, and I'm so sorry. That's terrible. Says someone once told me, I don't recall who, but no one will ever love you like your mama, and I find that to be so true. That's what she said, Jeannie. And Jeannie, I feel that way myself as far as how hard I love my kiddos. Oh my goodness, I can't imagine anybody loving them as much as I love them. I really can't. We're watching a series, John and I, right now called The Chosen, and it's Jesus' life when he started his ministry. And we're coming up on it's starting to get where everyone's getting ticked off at him and all he's doing, and it's getting closer and closer to his uh, crucifixion, and I'm just like I'm dreading it because from a mama's standpoint, I cannot imagine that. I can't, you know, um, just can't. I can't get there from here. And so it's just like, oh. And I watched other movies, when it gets to that part and Mary's watching all that, and I bawled and squalled. I told John that though, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to watch this when we get to that part. And he's like, oh yeah, yeah, we're gonna watch it, baby. We're gonna watch it. I'm like, okay, okay. But I agree. You can't beat a mama's love, and it's a good one. It's a good one. So be good to your mama, cause she sure do be loving on you. She sure does. Oh, a lot, a whole lot. We will continue to miss all of our loved ones who have gone before us, but may sweet memories of them always stay in our hearts. Y'all see why I just love Jeannie's letters? I know. God bless your mama as she is going through this next step in life, and may the transition be smooth. And Jeannie, that just touched my heart when I read that. I loved that, girl. Thank you. I pray for God to comfort you and your beautiful family during this most difficult time. May your faith, family, and friends continue to be with you, sweet Amy. Sweet Jeannie, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your life and recipes with us. Jeannie, when I think that why am I doing this, or why should I keep doing this? Because everybody probably just thinks I'm a goofus. Then I get these things like that, and I think, well, okay. Okay, then. All right, I'll keep on. And thank you so much. I'm always, when I get off here, I'm always like, oh, did I thank them enough? Did I thank them enough? I'm just always wanting y'all all to know how much each and every little thing, big thing, it means nothing. Things that I get from y'all, I adore, and they mean the world to me, okay? And if you're not sending me anything and you're just sending me a little message or a comment on my videos, those are just as good, okay? Don't feel like I do these for somebody to send me something. That is so. No, I give way better than I receive. So that's why I'm trying to just say thank you so much, because I'm real bad at receiving. I'm a giver, okay? But I've had many people like our pastor's wife, my friend Cynthia Lawson. She's like, Amy, they're givers like you. Say thank you. Thank you. And I'm getting that from Cynthia. Thank you, Cynthia girl. So anyway, this comes from Nita Johnson, and she's in Alva, Florida. And it's a purple card. Thank you, Nita. It says, some women have a talent for kindness, a gift for friendship, and a subtle strength that others can depend on. Thanks for being one of them, Nita. That is so sweet, girl. So sweet. And I depend right back on y'all. So we just all helping one another, aren't we? It says, Amy, hi, girl. Your farm is so pretty. Why are you not on Facebook very much? I miss you. Love seeing your animals, Nita. Well, Nita, that was, you know what? Y'all not going to believe when this passed through the post office May 1st, which is exactly the day that my mother passed away. Isn't that something? But Nita, I'm trying, girl. Hang in there. My mother passed away in May, and she'd been on hospice. Seemed like forever. It just got grueling, and she had had Alzheimer's for years. So it seems like just long and drawn out, and you are just watching the suffering that you just think can't go on anymore. So it got April, and we just thought, what in the world is Mama hanging on to here? And my sisters were here, and we were staying with my daddy. We were all together and just staying with my mother. And we kept thinking, what in the world, what in the world, you know? Uh, and of course, knowing it's all God's timing, just our humanly, you know, what are we waiting on here? Because it was just awful. It was just awful. Y'all know how it gets, a lot of you. So anyway, my daddy told us the day that she passed away. He had told us the story before, but you know, I didn't think about it during the time. But she had been talking with him some years before she got really bad, and she was still at home with my daddy. And this is so interesting. It really is. Her mother passed away in May. Her grandmother passed away in May. Isn't that something? Her mother's mother. Her mother-in-law, my daddy's mother, passed away in May. So finally, when my daddy brought that story back up to us on May 1st, hospice called, and uh, she passed away on May 1st. Later that day, we were all back together at my daddy's house, my sisters and me with my daddy. Our daddy, I always say my daddy. And he brought that story back up, and we had been with our mother, and so once we all got back together, he brought that story up again and told it again, and we were like, oh, that's why. That's what she was waiting on. She was waiting on May, because she said to my daddy in the kitchen with him when she was still at home that, well, I bet I'm going to pass away, or I'm probably going to pass away in May like them, because so many of the mothers in her life had passed away in May. So we just thought that was just awesome, and just it was comforting. It was comforting to remember that story, and that she had said that, and our daddy relayed that to us, and so we're like, oh, and I don't know, it was a comforting feeling coming, you know, that she was just waiting on May 1st. That's what she was waiting on. So we got an answer, I guess is what I'm getting at. But that was neat. That was a real neat thing. And so I just wanted to share that with y'all for some reason. I think I've told some of y'all that. All right, guys, let's get on through this pile, because we got to go find another pile. Brenda Carroll. She's my sweet cousin. She's one of the sweetest people I've ever known in my entire life. And she sent me this card when my mother passed away. She said, these special people in our lives are never really gone. They have a cherished place in our hearts where they will always be remembered for the love they shared and the happiness they brought. Thinking of you with sympathy and hoping you find comfort in your special memories. Thank you so much, Brenda. She said, praying for you and all your family. I loved your mom so much and will treasure so many memories. And Brenda, you're such a sweetheart. And growing up, we would go to Brenda's mom and daddy's home. And her mama is a sweetheart too. And she's my Aunt Mabel Ray, in case y'all don't know who I'm talking about. And this is Brenda Ray Carroll. And anyway, she's a sweetheart, darling. She sent my daddy a card too, and it's over at my daddy's house in his kitchen on the counter, darling. And I thank you so much, and you are a dear, dear, dear sweetheart to me. And I'm so blessed to have ever had you in my life and in my childhood. Y'all were just fabulous. We would come to y'all's place with those big old fish fries. Y'all remember that? I know you remember that home, and that was just wonderful. Wonderful times. It sure was. And you're just so sweet to send that card, Brenda. Thank you so much, girl. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This one comes from Kathleen Widrick in Adams, New York. And I know a lot of y'all sent it to Louisiana Country Cooking, and I can tell you've been watching me on YouTube, because it says that when you go in the description. I put in there, it said describe your food, and I said, well, Louisiana Country Cooking. Well, then they made it. I don't know. And like they added Murray to Amy's Louisiana Kitchen, Murray. So everybody says, why? I'm like, I don't know. But anyway, Louisiana Country Cooking, I always know that's for me too. You sent me this card, Kathleen, and I thank you so much. Love you so much, trusting you in the arms of the Lord our Savior. And I thank you so much for that. I sure do. Katie, that's what you go by. I love that. That's my daughter-in-law's name, Katie, and it's a pretty one. She says, Amy, may you experience the Lord's great faithfulness in a special way as you trust Him and His steadfast love to carry you through this difficult time, praying for you. And He has and He will, girl, and I thank you so much for that. She says, sending warm hugs. So very sorry for the death of your mom. Takes lots of time to grieve. And it does. You're so right. It does. And you go through stages of it, don't you? I know. Thank you. And you've got a verse on the front. Lamentations. This I call to mind, and therefore I have hope. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. Lamentations 3:21 through 23. And I love that. One of my favorites. I'm always saying, this is one of my favorites. That's one of my favorites. But they are. So many good ones, isn't it? And that's a good one. And thank you so much for that. I read that way back, and meant a lot to me. A whole lot. From New York, and you know I've never been to New York. And Addie, my little granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter, Addie, she wants to go to New York so bad. And I'm thinking about maybe doing like a Christmas trip to New York when all the Christmas lights are out. And it just seems like watching it in movies, it just seems like a magical time in New York. So anyway, I don't know. But if anything, maybe one day just me and Addie fly up to New York, you know, because she and I think are the only ones, you know, that talk about it all the time. So we might just do that. But I can't wait. You're on my bucket list. Yes, you are. This comes from Miss Phyllis Berryhill in Cincinnati, Ohio. I love that. And it's purple with a purple flower stamp. I don't even know where y'all find these. Those are fabulous. And thank you. And look at this beautiful purple card. Do y'all see that? To the beach. We didn't even take a vacation this summer. It's just been crazy. So we've not even planned one or gone on one. So this is my little beach vacation right here. Looking at this card, and it's purple. It's gorgeous. She says, Miss Phyllis says, Amy and John, we never really lose those who are dear to us. Their familiar voices whisper to us when we're alone. You are so right. Except my mama's isn't a whisper. It's more or less usually, Amy, worship! So, yeah, she's still talking to me. She's still correcting me here on some certain things. Their family, the familiar voices whisper to us when we are alone. Their images return to us in dreams. They do, and I love that. I love, love, love. We're going to have to talk one time about crazy dreams I have of loved ones passed on. And though at first we are saddened by their departure, in time our sorrow fades and is replaced with vivid memories of happy times spent together. The realization that those memories will live on within us is comforting and allows us to find peace. Your friend Phyllis. And Phyllis, I thank you so much, girl. And I thank you for being my friend. And I love all of those thoughts, and I agree with you 100%. I sure do. And yeah, my mama still talk to me like when I'm making something in particular that she taught me to cook. It's like she's still telling me, do this or don't do that or make sure of this. So, and not just my mama, my grandmothers, and even people that's still alive that I learned from, you know, they're right here talking with me. So I love that. And I love what you said. I do, I do. This comes from right here in town with me, from Doug and Nancy. I go to church with them, and they are sweethearts to be around, very much so. And it says, may you celebrate the life your mother lived and honor the memories she leaves behind. And know that the love she shared will stay in your heart forever. And you are so right, Nancy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this card. That means so much to me. Yes, it does. This one is from Lillian Barker in Vancouver, Washington. I love that. And I've never been to Washington either. And that's where my cousin Cliff had moved to. And then he met a Canadian girl and he moved to Canada. And I've always wanted to go up to Washington. So maybe one day, maybe one day. Let's see what Miss Lillian, thank you for the lavender card, purple card. I love it. Heaven is where Jesus is where worship fills every breath, where light fills every place, where love fills every heart, where peace fills every soul, where joys never cease. Heaven is our forever home. No eye has seen, no ear has heard, and no mind has imagined what God has prepared for those who love him. Is that not a favorite, right? 1 Corinthians 2:9. And I love that. And thank you for that so much, Lillian. She says, Amy, remembering you at this time of loss and praying that the realty of heaven's joys brings deep comfort to your heart with caring thoughts and heartfelt sympathy. Love, Lillian. Thank you so much, Lillian. This meant so much to me then. And a lot of these I've waited to read just so I can read them and thank you instead of just cry. I know I've done that many times with y'all, and I thank you so much. And that means every word of that is so true and means so much to me. Thank you very, very much. This one also is a purple card from Jeannie Erickson. I told y'all she's always sending me stuff, and she's a sweetheart from Littleton, Colorado. In sympathy, memory of those we love live forever in our hearts. And you're so right, Jeannie. Thank you again, girl. And she wrote me a note. It says, Dear Amy, John Murray, and family, sending my deepest sympathies to all of you for loss of your sweet mama. May the Lord comfort you at this most difficult time and surround you with his love and guidance. God bless, Jeannie Erickson. Jeannie, you're always so sweet, girl. And I love all these little fireflies on this little purpley card. Those are so, so cute. Last summer, our friends Brittany and Chance came over one evening last summer, and we rode in our side-by-side, just riding around on some of these little dirt back roads. And the sun went down, and we were still riding at night. And we turned on a road real close to our house, and we were riding just a little dirt trail, and it was filled with fireflies. It was a magical time for Brittany and me. I don't know if Chance and John were so enchanted by all the fireflies, but it was just tons of them all around us. It looked like a movie scene or something staged, and yet it wasn't. And so I got John, and we were just wanting to just kick back and relax. And we were in the back seat. We didn't have our phones with us. We didn't stop and film it. We were just like so enchanted. We're like, oh my goodness, it's so many of them. And it was just wonderful. And they were just everywhere for this whole section we were riding through. And so I got John to take me the other night, and I took my camera. And of course, I just saw a few fireflies, which was wonderful. But I wanted so much to share all those fireflies with y'all. So I'm going to keep checking every summer. Maybe we'll see them again like that, because they were just wonderful. And so that card reminded me of that enchanted time that we went last summer and saw them. And Brittany and I still talk about it to this day, because it was just wonderful. This comes from Sherry Munson in Bethany, Illinois. And Sherry, I don't think I've ever gone to Illinois either. No, I haven't. And of course I would love to. Sometimes, every once in a while, John and I will just hit the road. And we went out west last time. Maybe one year we'll get to do that. Maybe. And we'll have to go northern, won't we? Yeah. And it's a beautiful little card that you sent, Sherry. Thank you so much, girl. It says, with sympathy. So may the constant love of caring friends bring you comfort and peace. And I remember when I read this when I first got it, Sherry, and I thought, You just did bring me comfort and peace. And I thank you so much for that. That means so much to me. I remember reading that. So sorry for your loss. Sending you this card to let you know we are here for you, Sherry. Sherry M, she says. And I thank you, Sherry. And I felt that through your card so much. And I loved it then, and I just loved it again now. Thank you so much. Um, Jim and Rita Payne from Tullahoma, Tennessee. I probably slaughtered that. But anyway, and it went through Chattanooga. Now, we have stayed in Chattanooga. We stayed at the place where you could stay in the train cars at that hotel in Chattanooga. It was really neat. Our oldest son, Blake, loved trains growing up. I mean, everything was about a choo-choo train. When he was little, I made him choo-choo train birthday cakes like years in a row. And everything. He used to have the biggest collection of trains. Anyway, my grandfather, Oscar Worsham, my daddy's daddy, had passed away before Blake was born. And it had not been that long before he passed away, before Blake was born. And I said that his spirit was living in Blake because my pawpaw, Worsham, Oscar Worsham, he worked at the railroad in Monroe. It was one name, now it's Union Pacific Railroad. I can't remember if it was Georgia Pacific. I can't remember because I'm a silly thing. But anyway, I think now it's Union Pacific Railroad. But he worked there for years and years and years. And so everything was about trains. And he took his family, my daddy and his brother and sister, on some of the most fabulous trips because you could hop on that train as an employee. He worked in the office part of it. But you could go anywhere all over the United States, the country, on these trips for free, your family. So they would hop on and they went to some of the most, they've been to the Grand Canyon, they've been to Yellowstone National Park, they've been to New York City, they have been up in the Statue of Liberty, even in the torch she holds. Now you cannot go into the torch, but they even climbed that staircase and went into the torch. Just amazing trips they went on the railroad. So anyway, my grandfather passed away, and then very shortly after, Blake was born, and dearly loved trains. And so I always just felt so good that Blake loved trains like that because my grandfather was all about trains and worked at the railroad. And so it was just a real comforting little thing to me, like his spirit was alive through Blake. And so we went to Chattanooga when he was little, and we stayed at that hotel where it was train cars and all that. So we took a train ride. So that was a very nice trip that John and I took the boys on, sure did. And so we have been to Chattanooga. Yes, we have. So anyway, getting back to this, Miss Rita, I know I had to go off on a tangent, but yeah, I've been to Chattanooga and just had to talk about my pawpaw. A mother's love is forever. She is with you in your heart. She is with you in your mind. She is with you in your memories. And that is so true. So true. Rita, thank you so much. You will still have her smile and her dreams for your life, and always her love forever. So very sorry for your loss, Rita says. And thank you so much. So sweet. She says, Amy, I'm so sorry to hear about your mother. She was a beautiful lady. Thank you so much. So many of y'all have told me that when I did that little video of some pictures of her. I lost my mother in 2001. I bet that doesn't seem like that long ago. My parents had been married for 50 years. My parents have been married for 54, so I got you. I feel you, girl. I am an only child, so I had to be there for my daddy, and he was lost. And I understand. I do. My thoughts and prayers are with you and your family. And thank you so much, Rita, because they mean so much. Your thoughts and your prayers mean so very much to me. And I've seen my daddy hurting myself. Big time, girl. Sure have. And so, that's all we can do. Just try to be there, right? And pray. So, thank you for your thoughts and your prayers. Very, very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This card comes from Cheryl Owens in Newton, Mississippi. And it's purple. So sweet. On the loss of your mother, she will always be in your heart. And you are so right, Cheryl. Cheryl Ann. That's a beautiful name, Cheryl. She says, Amy, losing a mother is one of the deepest sorrows a heart can know. But her memory lives on, a legacy of love that will always be with you. Hope that love surrounds you now and brings you peace. Then she goes on to say, what a blessed assurance to know that one day we will reunite with our loved ones and friends who have gone on before us. I have come to love you and your sweet family through your videos. That is so sweet, Cheryl, and I love you too, girl, very much. And I know we could be great friends. I'm from Newton, Mississippi. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's so close. And a news reporter at the Meridian State. Oh, how cool, in Meridian, Mississippi. I would love to meet you one day. I'm so deeply sorry about your mother. My dad, who is 88, has Alzheimer's. Oh, and my mom, 85, has Parkinson's. Oh, girl. Yes, I remember reading that, and you've been in my prayers. And prayers for strength. Yes. He is a retired Baptist preacher. That's awesome. That is awesome. Please say a prayer for them. And I have been, girl, and I will continue. Continue. Albert and Janelle McCullen. Y'all pray for Albert and Janelle and for Cheryl, because there are some times ahead. Sure are. And I'm so very sorry. I am. Your friend in Christ, she says. And I've been keeping you close to my heart and my thoughts too, girl. Sure have. Before my mother had Alzheimer's, I thought that Parkinson's was one thing, and I thought dementia was one thing, and that Alzheimer's was one thing. And then I found out with that, because when something like that happens, you just start really researching, and trying to learn. Or I did. And I found out that it's all dementia, and then you have these branches or whatever. And so then my mother had the Alzheimer's, but it's dementia, and then you could have Parkinson's. And also, like my mother's Alzheimer's, she would have these days where she would shake like that really bad, like from Parkinson's. So yeah, you pick up on different things, that they kind of resemble one another on certain days, But yeah, it's a trip. It's a trip and a half. I'm here for you. I'm here for you too. You are so much in my prayers, very much so. I love that your daddy was a minister, though. That's fantastic. I love that very much so. Nita Johnson, she's coming back. She may have been in the first video that I did of opening the mail, but Nita's all the time writing me too, and I love her. I love her. She's in Alva, Florida. She says, may the Lord bless you. This brings a special prayer for you. May Jesus bless and guide you every day throughout the year. I still love your program, Amy. I watch you every time I can and find it on my phone. So much love is shown when your grandchildren are on there with you. Oh, I love that. And you said you loved all my breads I made on St. Patrick's Day. I did too. I love that. They're so easy. They're just so easy. It's like, oh my goodness, why don't I do this all the time? I don't do this all the time because I'd be huge, but I love that time myself. Nita, and you're always so sweet, and I thank you so much for always taking this time to do this. shower me with cards and notes. And I love it, girl. You're so sweet. You said love you and John, and we love you too, Nita. Very, very, very much. Sure do. Seems like you had reminded me something. Oh yeah, about when my grandchildren's on there, it shows so much love. And I do love my grandchildren. They're starting to get that age, my oldest ones, where they don't, I mean, it was used to, Grandma, can we come over? Can we come over? Can we come spend the night? And so now I'm like, hey, have y'all got time to pencil me in so y'all can come stay? But that's just part of it. That's why I just tried, when they were first born, I was still working full time, 7 days a week at the vet's office here, the veterinarian clinic. And we were starting this farm, and we had our own business, the dirt work business. And I was a secretary bookkeeper like I am now. So it was like so easy for me to be able to say, oh, I just don't have time. I don't have time right now. I have to wait till I don't have time to get my grandbabies. But I knew just from raising my own children that they're raised like that. They're grown up. Boom. You're like, whoa, what happened? So I was like, I don't care. And I mean, I'd be dragging in. I'd still have on my scrubs from being at the vet's office. And I'd be picking up those grandbabies, when they were little. And that's when you were changing diapers, and you had to be there every waking moment, and just constant. And so they'd go home, and I just be like, but I knew they were going to be grown like that, so I would do it anyway. And I'm so thankful I did, because now, like I say, I gotta get penciled in now. But now little Ashley, it's her time now. She wants to go to Mimi's all the time. She calls me Mimi. I wanted to be Mimi to begin with, but Luke is my oldest grandson, and there was already a Mimi in his life, and so they said, "Oh, well, you can't be Mimi. We already got a Mimi," and she wasn't his grandma, but I guess I was younger then. I was like, okay, whatever. And now I'm like, well, because it sounds like Amy, Mimi. And so that's what I wanted to be, but I wasn't. So I'm grandma there. But then when Ashley was born, I was like, okay, I want to be Mimi. So now I'm grandma and Mimi. And I was thinking to myself, oh, this is silly. I can't do this. Except then I talked to my friend, my longtime best friend, Donna Kay Dort. And she's been my best friend. We were best friends forever and ever and ever. We didn't go a day without speaking to one another during my younger years, and first marriage and divorce and babies. And so Donna Kay, I just love her dearly. She's special to me. But anyway, what was I saying? I don't even remember what I was saying. I got off thinking about Donna Kay. But oh yeah. Hi, I remembered. But Donna Kay, I was talking to her one time, and I was saying that. I was like, I'm thinking about getting called Mimi with my youngest grandchild from my other son, because that's what I always wanted to be. And she was like, well, some of my grandbabies from this child calls me this, Nana, and then some calls me this, and then my great grandchildren call me this. And once she told me that, I said, okay, all right, thank you, Donna. Thank you, Donna. So yeah, I'm Mimi. Ashley calls me Mimi, and she's 2, and she wants to come see Mimi all the time. And so, I still got one wanting to do that. And so I'm loving it. But I do remember those days when it was like so hard for me to try to get them, because my life was just 10 directions, and I was so tired, but I did it anyway, and I'm so glad, because yeah, like I say, now I gotta beg and plead. All right, y'all, we've got just a few more here to finish up this video, and then we'll go to another pile. So this comes from Miss Barbara in Orangeburg, South Carolina. Oh, Miss Barbara. Okay, no, it's just because I remember I've gotten stuff from you before, girl, and I thank you so much. Some special people have a way of making each day brighter. Amy, may your day be filled with sunshine, happiness, and love, just like you. Thank you so much. Y'all just Y'all tell me that all the time, and sometimes I don't think that I'm showing that. And so I'm so happy that y'all see that, and you make me feel good saying it. She says, Jesus is alive. Amen, girl. Yes, he is, Miss Barbara. Thank you so much. So much for your sweet little beautiful card. And y'all see, it's lavender. Y'all just go through so much to find me these purple cards, and y'all are so sweet for that. Thank you so much. This comes from Miss Janice in Alabama, Pinson, Alabama. Janice Hawkins. And Janice sent me a recipe, and I love, love, love that. It's called olive spread. I'll get back to that. Hi, Amy. I wanted to share this recipe with you. If you love olives, you will love this. And I do love olives. Yes, I do. It is very old recipe from Heloise. Heloise? But you're not old enough to remember her. Okay. She wrote a column in the newspaper years ago and shared recipes. Well, how sweet and cute is that? I love your videos and watch some of them over and over and love the recipes I've made. It's great how you share your family and farm. Thank you so much, Janice. What a blessing to see the love between you and that handsome John Murray. Oh, too bad he's already left. He could have heard that. My husband and I have been married 65 years this November. How awesome! We have been greatly blessed with a wonderful family. We raised 3 boys and so proud of them as men now. How wonderful. What a blessing. I would love to sit on your porch and swing with you, and we could talk recipes all day long. You are so right. We could. Love how you show your garden. What do you do with all the squash you plant? Oh, right. Well, now I give away squash, and a lot of times during the day, I can just get a few squash and I chop them up and I saute them real quick just for myself, like for lunch. I love that. Then you can pickle squash, and I've never pickled squash with y'all. I need to do that, don't I? And so, yeah, there's a lot. Now, I made squash casserole or squash dressing with y'all. This time I did. But yeah, then there's squash casserole. And one time I canned squash years ago, and I didn't realize it wasn't acidic enough just to not just can it, and let it seal. And so when I went to go get it out of my pantry, every lid had popped and it was bubbling over. I was like, and then I realized I got to research, and like I say, you live and learn, and you have to pressure can squash. So yeah, I'll can some. But just like I say, if I could just do every single thing I do on a video, boy, we'd always be on here. But my time has been very limited a lot here lately. Um, so anyway, that's what I do. I give it away. I can it. I don't like frozen squash as much. I don't like how it thaws to cook. So maybe somebody will hop on here and tell us how to freeze squash that's real good. Oh, when we fry squash. Fried squash when you're frying fish outside. Oh my goodness. Bread it with your fish breading. Oh my goodness. So good. Yes, it is. All right, so let's move on. I got stuck on squash, didn't I? All right, Janice, let's see what else you have to say. Oh, and you're right. We could swing and talk all day. Hope you will show us how you can tomatoes. I didn't get to do that this year, although I'm doing some fall tomatoes. If it ever cool off a little bit, we'll plant them. My family loves a habanero pepper relish. I can. I just made up the recipe. Oh, girl, you need to share that one too. I bet it's good. Habanero pepper relish. Good with peas, right? Yeah. And some cornbread. And you left me your email address, and I thank you so much. See, now I can email you a special thank you back. I'm going to put that right there. And you've got on here, you sent me olive spread, and it's 8 ounces of softened cream cheese, a half cup mayonnaise, 1 cup well-drained chopped stuffed olives, and a half cup fine chopped pecans. Mixed together till well blended can make finger sandwiches, which would be wonderful, or very good on crackers. Yes, be awesome as well. That's what, when I was reading it, I was thinking it'd be good on sandwiches. Or you could even take your French bread or your Italian loaf and slice it in half and paint that on there and toast it in the oven. Um, Yum! This is wonderful. Olive spread. Yummy. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm going to have to do this one time. We sure might. Thank you so much there, Janice. You're so sweet. In Alabama, I bet y'all are hot too, girl. That's where a lot of times we'll go to the beach is Alabama, because that's real close to us. And y'all got some gorgeous beaches in Alabama. Gorgeous. You sure do. You can just stop there. Coming from our way. This comes from, and it says it's personal, so it comes from Indiana. So I'm not going to read all the personal. I've already read it. But this also has the sinner's prayer. That's the one I got all tripped up on earlier. I don't know why. But it has the sinner's prayer on here that you wrote out very, very well for me. And it even says, if you have accepted Jesus as your Savior, please share this with someone who has not, so that they may go to heaven too. And of course, we don't know what's in anyone's heart. We don't know if they are or not. Are they faking it? Or are they not? But I'm going to leave this. God knows what's in our heart, though, right? I love that you took all the time to write the sinner's prayer out here. And I am going to also leave this somewhere like at a doctor's appointment. That's what I was talking earlier. Um, to let someone pick up and possibly read. And you've got a verse in here. If you confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus and believe in your heart that God has raised him, Jesus, from the dead, you will be saved. 10:10, Romans. And that is so true. And so anyway, I'm going to pass this on because you took all that time to write that letter out. Yes, you did. And you sent me lots of little things, and I love it. A prayer for America. Yes, right. And so, anyway, I thank you for that and all the little personal things you wrote me. I'm keeping to myself, but I thank you so much for it. A whole lot. A lot of y'all send me personal things, or y'all send me little gifts, and y'all are so sweet because you'll say, Amy, don't show this or don't do a video on this. It's just for you, and I love that. Y'all remind me of Jesus saying, "Don't let your right hand know what your left hand's doing." Because we're just supposed to do things for others, and we're not supposed to want to get our reward for that, because God knows what we're doing. And if we want to get our reward for that here, then he says that that's what we'll get is reward on earth. But if we don't say anything and just God knows what we're doing, then we'll get such a greater reward in heaven. So anyway, that reminded me of that. So I always am touched by ones of you that say, "Hey, don't read this. Just this is for you, and I just want to send this to you." And y'all are always so uplifting for me too. So I'm sending you a little thank you too, okay? Because